Okay, in today's video, I'm going to show you a variation of an exercise that I do. Well, not really a variation, just going to do that exercise on the cable machine, which is the SF3 by Inspire, which I have, versus using dumbbells. That exercise is running the rack. If you're not familiar with what running the rack is, so what that means is I'm doing drop sets. I'm going through my bicep workout, which I do I have 2 days of pull day, so I do push, pull, legs, off, push, pull, legs. That's my week. So I would do different exercises on those different days. So for one of my pull days, which is usually pull day 2, and I'm going to do separate videos coming up shortly of going through all my different days, what exercises I do in those. So for my pull day where I'm doing the run the rack, that's all I'm doing for biceps on that day. So I would start off with the 20-pound dumbbells, curl those to failure. So I would just go through my curls, which starting off, it's probably going to be 19, 20 reps that I'm going to do with these. Immediately put these down, go to my 15s without even shaking it off or anything, and then do these to failure, which is probably going to be like 9 reps. Put those down, go to my 10s, exact same thing, maybe another 10 reps, put those down, and then go to my 8s, which maybe I get about 10 reps, and that would be it. Your arms, or my arms at that point, are on fire. I'm like, okay, good. Take a 3 to 5 minute rest, and do it again. Go through all those 4 different weights, the 20s, the 15s, the 10s, the 8s. Again, a 4 to 5 minute rest, and then do it again. And that would be my bicep workout for that day. And it just got to the point where I'm like, maybe I could do it on the cable machine and get a better workout. And for these, I'm using my D handles. Okay, so when doing this exercise, obviously you don't want to pick up a weight, set it to a weight that's so, you're same thing with dumbbells, where you're using a lot of body English to do it. You don't want to do that. Basically, you want to try to drive your shoulders. Think of your shoulders, pushing your shoulders into the ground. So keeping your shoulders down, and you're just going to hinge with the elbow. Try to keep your elbows behind you, and you're just going to, this is the whole motion, from there to there. You don't have to bring it and try to pull it up here and put a lot of body English in it. And with the cable, it's pulling it back the whole time, so you don't want to slam the weights back, so you're keeping a lot of tension on it through the whole motion. And you just want to step forward with this. You don't have to go way forward with these, just enough, so you can feel that tension, you can feel the stretch, like it's pulling my arms back. And I'm just going to keep my elbows there, and that's the whole motion. And my biceps are working the whole time, because even right now, it's trying to pull it back, but you're fighting it. So it's working your biceps. You get a great stretch here. So what I would do with that is I would start off, say maybe I set it at 40 or 50 pounds on each stack. Do that to failure. Then I would drop it down a pin, or go back up. So I'd start off on, the 5 stack, do it to failure, whether it's 15, 20 reps, then put the pins on 4, same thing, then 3, then 2. So I would do it again, go through 4 different weights. And it's super fast. You can do those, boom, pop the pin down, step forward, and go through it again. It's just a different variation on that exercise, because maybe you don't have dumbbells. You're like, well, I would like to do that, but I don't have dumbbells. Well, I'm showing you, you can do that. You can run the rack, so to speak, run the plates, I guess we would call it, if we're doing it on a cable machine rather than doing the rack. And if you're wondering while I was doing that, and you're like, Jason, you have a rack. Why don't you have the weights on the rack? I would when I'm actually doing the exercise, but normally I don't keep them in that rack, because other than my 30 pounds, which have, you know, the metal grips on here. The rest are all coated, and I will show you one here. You can't really see it. So these are all, you know, what is this, polyurethane or whatever, is coated. I like the grip on these. If these sit in the rack, I don't know, maybe you can kind of see it. The light's a little bright. As they sit there, the racks will start to put indentations in the weights. And eventually, as you can see with my 15, it did it enough to where it just started ripping. So this is, which works. If you have weights that this is peeled off, this is like the tape for a tennis racket that you'd wrap around a tennis racket, works perfectly. I was gonna get rid of that weight and buy some new 15s, and I realized I had some tennis racket grip and I put it on there. I'm like, hey, that works great. So that's why I don't keep my weights in the rack. I like the rack. I got it off Amazon. I may have a link down in the description because it's red. It kind of matched my SF3. If you have, you know, weights with grips like this, it'd work great because it's not going to do anything to those. But if you have these, if you have coated weights, don't keep them in there, especially overnight or whatever. When you're not using it, take them out because it's going to start leaving marks and eventually tear right into those. Just a little tip. So there you go. You can still run the rack, run the plates on a cable machine like that. It's a great exercise. Like I said, on my pull day 2, that's the only bicep exercise I do, because really what? I'm doing 3 sets of that, and I'm doing what, a 4 drop set really in each one of my sets, because I'm doing, you know, about 20 pounders, 15, 10, and 8. It's a little different when I'm using the stack there. The weight is a little different than that, but it's a great exercise. Leave it in the comments below. Let me know if you've done it. What do you think of that? And if you want to see a video on how I show you how you can use this Smith bar here to do leg presses, you can click on this video up there. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.